Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this webinar for FCA members on what a cloud accounting solution looks like for your franchise system. My name's Andrew Oldham, and I'm the National Sales Manager here at Shoebooks, one of the partners of the FCA. Just a quick little bit of housekeeping before we do get started. I've actually muted everyone on the webinar this afternoon purely so we can get through the presentation as quickly as we can. So we're very mindful that you're taking time out of your day today so you can get back to your business. But you'll notice on the right-hand side of your screen, you've got a GoToMeeting control panel. You can actually minimize that if it's in the way or if it's annoying you, but you've certainly got the ability to ask questions using the chat feature, which I'll be checking throughout the session. So if you've got any questions, please ask them. And I'm certainly happy to take questions at the end for you as well. Now, before we begin, a quick bit of background about Shoebooks for those that I haven't met before at any of the functions the FCA have been holding. We've been members since February, which we've been very pleased to be. But Shoebooks has been around for 10 years in business. We've got two sides of our business, a service side to the business, which we've been doing a lot of consulting, system integration, custom feature software designed for a range of different organisations, small and medium enterprise. And the software side, the online accounting software has been in the marketplace for about 4 years, but predominantly in the last 2 years, where we've now been spending a lot more time with smaller enterprises, and certainly doing a lot of work with franchise systems. So a lot of experience on both sides of the business, and our team are very experienced in terms of automation, integration, and change management. So, and again, happy to chat about some of the things we do with yourselves along the way. The agenda, what we're going to cover off is a number of things to consider when you're looking at an online accounting solution. As you're all aware, there's a lot of different options out there in the marketplace in terms of accounting packages, some from very large software vendors and some from smaller. I know that we've got a couple of our competitors on today's webinar and certainly tomorrow, so I welcome them to the sessions. But I'm going to take you through some of the considerations to look at, some of the benefits that we're certainly seeing with our existing business clients and franchise systems. Case study, so there's a number of models that we work through, and I'm going to take you through one particular case study that we've from one of our clients, and what's involved in the process. So I get the question all the time. There is a perception out there that it is a big change. And I'm not saying changing accounting software platforms isn't a big change, but the process is not as complicated as you may think. And I'm going to walk you through that process just to give you a feel for it. Then we'll wrap up with how you could potentially move forward or have a further chat with us. Okay, so just a few things to consider. I'm going to run you through, again, questions that we get all the time, so hopefully I'm going to answer some of those questions that you're thinking about at the moment. But the firstly is your needs. So are you looking for a new accounting platform just for your head office, the franchisor? Are you looking for something that you could offer your franchisees? Are you looking for a platform that has all the features that you need so you don't have to go and get more expensive add-ons? Are you looking for a solution that can easily roll out to new franchisees as they come along? So a number of things there to consider. The reason why I raise it is you can go out and or go online and pick up an accounting package quite easily these days. Starting from whatever it is, $29 a month. But is that going to give you everything you need right now? Maybe. But is it going to give you everything you need in the next 6, 12, 3, 5 years as you grow, without potentially having to either go and look for a new solution or actually increase your software spend? So you need to be very mindful of that when you're looking at the different providers out in the marketplace. From a Shoebooks point of view, the platform has most of the modules that a small to medium-sized enterprise needs to manage their business, obviously online and from anywhere, including divisions, subdivisions, projects, very comprehensive payroll, employee portals, jobs that integrate with your divisions, a whole range of things that scheduling, automatically scheduling invoices and statements and auto data follow-up reminders. So the majority of functions that a growing business needs without the additional costs of the platform. But again, happy to chat about that on a different stage. The background of the provider. So again, very important. How they just popped up. There's a lot of cloud, not just cloud accounting providers out in the marketplace. There's also a lot of other cloud software providers. You can be mindful how long they've been around, the backing of the business, the support, their services, the reliability, how you get access to your data if something goes wrong. You need to be mindful of these. As I said, we've been around for 2003. Certainly with the services side of the business, and more recently with the software side, and everything based in Australia and supported in Australia. So again, consider that. Is it an out-of-the-box solution or customizable? So again, as I said before, you can jump online and get access to online accounting software within 30 seconds these days. But will it cater for all of your needs? Will you need to go and get add-ons? Or can you potentially work with the provider and customize the platform to your solution? Really important for a franchise system that everyone's different in terms of how they do their back office and their bookkeeping. But even for a business owner, that everyone's got different needs, and we certainly understand that. And when we've got a service side of the business can actually sit down and help you understand your needs. And potentially what we can do with our platform that's going to solve those problems. Where's the data hosted? Again, very important. There's some changes with the Australian Privacy Act coming in 2014. If you're looking at providers, ask them the questions about their security, where it is hosted, how they conform with the Australian Privacy Act. We Shoebooks have all of our data securely hosted in A-grade data centres in Australia. So we do conform to the Australian Privacy Act. But again, you need to be mindful of that. Certainly if you're hosting data on client's behalf or your franchisee's behalf, consider that. What type of services and support is provided? And I'll start with the services. So there's a lot of accounting platforms out there that will certainly provide you with the platform to do your accounts, but what type of service are they going to provide you in terms of the automation, integration, understanding areas of your business that you could potentially automate, and certainly the change management side of it. So holding your hand through the migration and education of your potential franchisees. Do they have it? Maybe, maybe not. Support, again, is it based in Australia? Can you call someone? Do they have online chat? Do they have an online platform? Just the majority of providers have some kind of online support, how-to guides, videos. Now, all those sorts of things that make it really easy for not just yourselves, but for your franchisees to get the answers that they need straight away. So again, a few things there you need to be mindful of. Interaction between the franchisor and the franchise accounts. Now, what I'm referring to there is that, again, you can go out and get off-the-shelf accounting packages, but is there any relationship that can be formed between those databases? We do a lot of work in this area. It's one of our tailored solutions for systems, and I'm going to take you through that in our case study very shortly. And who will help implement change? I'll sort of cover that off in the services side. Will the provider actually sit down and walk you through the stages? Will they be there to support you, to advise you? We certainly do a lot of that with our clients because we understand that it is a significant shift certainly when we're looking at large franchise systems, to implement a newer online accounting platform. So they're the main questions that we get on a day-to-day basis. I'm sure there's others that are floating around your mind, and more than happy to answer those either through the session or afterwards. A couple of main benefits that we're seeing at the moment with the systems that we work with. I'm going to start on the left-hand side, which is at the franchisor level. Now, remember, we have a very tailored solution for an entire system, but there's benefits for both the franchisor and the franchisee, obviously. For a franchisor, though, providing an online accounting platform with trust relationships, and depending on the type of reporting, consolidated reporting and KPI reporting that we can put into place, they can access that data from anywhere at any time. So really important for the franchisor to understand not only how, as a head office is performing and different divisions within that, how they're performing, but also be able to, with one click of a button, get an idea of how your franchisees are performing financially. Adds massive value to your network if you can get out there and actually help franchisees that are brand new to running a business actually be successful in what they're doing. Added value to attract and retain franchisees, putting something in an ops manual that is showing new franchisees about the back office, how to run the back office, and having something that is standardized. A fantastic solution. White labeling, you've got the ability to actually white label Shoebooks. So again, providing an added value tool for your system, and whether that is used as an attraction tool or just as a way to keep your own branding, which is really important. Integrate and automate processes. So we work with the franchisors to start with around getting rid of data entry, including getting rid of spreadsheets, looking at head office and how they interact with the franchisees. And a lot of the data entry comes from waiting for sales reports to come through and then calculation of the franchise fees and so forth and so forth. We've got the ability through the creating some trust relationships with the databases of automating the franchise fee calculation. So effectively what happens is an invoice, because we can actually draw the sales figures from the franchisee's accounts, we can actually generate the invoice automatically at the franchisor level and a bill automatically populated in the franchisee's account. So no double entry, no one's involved in it. The technology does the work, and then the only manual process is someone's going to pay the bill. So we can do a lot of that work, plus looking at ways to automate other platforms that the system is using, and that could be point of sale systems, CRM systems, job tracking platforms, rostering systems, a whole range of things that using our SOAP interface we can automate for you. KPI reports across the system, again, tailored, and I'm going to show you an online example of this very shortly. But again, sitting down with the franchisor and getting feedback from the franchisees, if you'd like to, we can actually produce some really valuable KPI reports, so you can get out there and, again, look at the financial management aspect of the franchisees and how their businesses are performing. And one of the big benefits is the reduced costs in IT. So gone are the days, or very shortly, the days will be gone where you need your own server, you need an internal IT guy. The software, cloud software, the costs are very small. And all those costs include things like the security behind it, upgrades, backups, and all those sorts of things. So the IT costs can reduce dramatically, not just at head office, but certainly for an individual franchisee. So a number of benefits there. For a franchisee, though, there's similar type of benefits, but for a business owner, to get access to their information from anywhere, whether it's their smartphone, their iPad, if they're on holidays, or if they're at a cafe, to be able to jump online and keep their finger on the pulse of what money's coming in and money going out, and the status of where things are at is highly valuable to a business owner. an easy to implement back office system. So as I said before, we've got franchise systems now that have it in their ops manual, their franchise agreements. But for a business owner, for a franchisee who has never run a business before, they're going to have very little financial management experience. So to have a back office system that is ready to go, standardized chart of accounts, their reporting standardized, it's already automated or integrated with other platforms, and they don't have to spend a lot of time actually doing the books, is highly valuable. It's scalable. Certainly our solution is a scalable accounting solution. So it's certainly been built for medium enterprise in mind, but fantastic for smaller businesses that are wanting to grow now. So they've got all that full functionality that they require as they do grow and get bigger. They can work closely with a bookkeeper and accountant, CFO, with the ability to invite them into their account online again, where the bookkeeper and accountant can be adding greater value to the business owner, the franchisee. Obviously works with the franchisor as well. Mentioned this before, less time doing bookkeeping, more time growing the business. So again, with the automation that we can bring into place, less time they're spending on the books, more time back at home with the family or whatever they're wanting to do, and less capital costs. So less capital costs at startup in terms of IT and the ongoing side of it. So again, they don't need their own server. We cover through certainly our subscription fees, we cover the security and the backups and the upgrades and all those sorts of things. So, and it'll be a fixed cost for them moving forward. So some very large benefits. This obviously applies to Shoebooks online accounting software, but just other cloud platforms out there. The benefits are very similar. And again, it all depends on the vendor, the supplier, the provider that you're working with. I always look at it as accounting software is accounting software. It's actually what you can do with your business which has the major benefits of it. We just utilise Shoebooks as the hub to be able to bring in the automation and the cost savings. So the tailored solutions that we're currently working through at the moment with a number of systems and existing systems, there's generally three. And I'm not going to take you all through the three today. I'm going to take you through the second one. But the first one that we work on is for a franchisee that potentially owns more than one location, and they're wanting one platform, certainly if they can report via one entity, one platform where they can easily access divisional type of reporting, cost center reporting for each location, and within that location, look at different cost centers within the business. So, for example, it might be a hospitality group that has 4 different pubs, and within those pubs, the owner wants to be able to drill down and have a look at how the front bar is performing, how the public bar is performing, how the restaurant's performing, how the nightclub's performing, all within one account, not having to have 4 different accounts, and which makes it pretty messy in terms of the accounting and bookkeeping side. So Shoebooks is ideal for that type of scenario. A systemised approach. So again, the franchisor down wanting something that is systemised and scalable for their system moving forward. I'll take you through that in the case study. And franchisors, we're actually working now with a number of systems that are actually doing the bookkeeping for their entire system. So again, we've got a tailored solution for those systems, including centralising, accessing the accounts with one click of a button, so you don't have to log in and log out of whether it's 5, 10, 15, 20, 40 different accounts. And with the roles and permissions side of Shoebooks, really be able to set up the way or different activities at the franchisee level can do in their own account. And that could be just looking at reports, it could be entering in purchases, invoices. Again, all can be predetermined by the franchisor, and we can tailor that solution. But what I'm going to do is take you through the second one, which is a stock standard solution that we can roll out very, very quickly these days for whether it's a startup franchise system or whether it's a large franchise system, which I'll walk you through. This is a this is a solution that is now finished, although we still do a little bit of development in terms of custom features that they potentially are looking to do just to improve processes moving forward. But I'll just take your eyes to the right-hand side first, and I'll just explain this case scenario for you. This is a Mexican restaurant. They originally approached us when they were just starting out. They had previous experience in running businesses and running franchise systems. So they had an idea of some of the challenges that they faced as the franchisor. And what they wanted to do was actually have a very systemised, automated approach to running the back office side of their business, and something not just from a head office point of view, but also something that can be rolled out to every new franchisee very, very quickly. So a couple of things that they wanted was the automation around franchise fees. So I think I mentioned before, they didn't want to be in the scenario where they're either waiting for reports coming through on a weekly or monthly basis, and then when they got the reports, they had to question whether the sales figures were correct. Then they had to then create the invoices and send the invoice, and then potentially wait for the franchisee to do something at their end. What we've been able to do is build an automated solution where, through the trust relationships that we've been set up with the databases, we actually automate the calculation of the franchise fees. We actually automate the population or the creation of an invoice at the franchisor level, and we actually automate the bill at the franchisee account level. So all the data entry is actually moved, and certainly the transparency around the number is clear as day. What's in the system is what's in the system. They wanted divisional reporting, so within the head office, they wanted to clearly identify different cost centres nice and easily, and within that, there could be jobs that are integrating, and the jobs could be used for supplies, so tracking things like Foster's as a promo within each division. They wanted that ability. Transparency around the numbers I've already spoken about. They wanted KPI reports. So one thing they want to be able to do is actually add greater value to their franchisees in terms of the financial management. So again, with one click of a button, and I'm going to show you an example of this very shortly, they wanted to be able to see how their franchisees were performing around a number of different metrics. And it wasn't just all sales, a whole range of different breakdowns. So they could go out and actually talk to the business owners or the franchisees around potentially doing things differently, challenges they are having, and those sorts of things. So they wanted, again, with one click of a button, they wanted to do that. And the last item was the white labelling. So they were able to roll out the first four really easily, and now they're at a stage now that they're contemplating white labelling Shoebooks. So we remove all Shoebooks branding. They've got their own secure URL, which may be linked to their website, so they keep their own branding. So again, they've got their own tool, their own back office tool that they're using to attract new franchisees, and something that is very scalable to retain the existing franchisees. So once we got the franchisor set up, and the little cloud here is representative of their account. So we did a lot of work in their account with their own chart of accounts and certainly divisional reporting and those sorts of things. We then went about setting up a master franchisee database first, so this top one. And within that, we worked with the franchisor on the chart of accounts that they wanted everyone to have. So again, everyone has, so in terms of benchmarking, everyone was a lot easier to pull out benchmarking if everyone's using the same chart of accounts. We looked at the different systems that they were using, so their banking systems, point of sale, CRM, other platforms that they may have had. How can we actually use our SOAP interface to automate the information flow going into an account? So again, removing data entry and the errors that come with data entry. And the reporting. So again, did they want some custom reporting for each franchisor, which we could do. And within that master database, we also looked at different divisions. So straight away, they could have some fantastic cost center reporting as a brand new business owner. What that allows us to do is, once we had one master franchisee database set up, every time a new franchisee comes along, one, the trust relationship is already developed with the franchisor account, and we just replicate the database. Now, obviously, there's different security levels involved. There is different entity names and ABNs and all those sorts of things, which are very easy to populate, but as you can see, very easy to scale. And if we need to make some global changes, again, for us, very easy to make changes globally to the entire system. So that gives you a quick snapshot of a very, very vanilla, I call this now our vanilla tailored solution. It can work in different ways. Some systems don't want some of this automation brought in. They want to give their franchisees a little bit more flexibility in terms of what they do with their own accounts. Again, we can do that. But the upside to this is having a system that is ready to go, easy to roll out, and for a franchisor, removing resourcing data entry needs for a number of these activities is huge cost savings just in itself. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take you through the software really quickly, just to give you an example of what it looks like and some of these features that I've talked about here, so you get a feel for the software, and I'll take you into a custom KPI report as well. Let me just bring it up. Okay, so this is just a test database. So you'll see we've developed Shoebooks with certainly when we're looking at it at the usability side, that you can access all your transactions within one click of a button. So you'll see we've got a number of different menus that you can get access to. Up the top here, we've got main menu. So with one click of a button, you can get access to all of the modules that you've got available. If I click in the main menu, lock myself out, click back in, apologies for that. If I click in the main menu, this has got everything turned on at the moment. You don't need to have all of these modules turned on. So you may not need payroll. You may not need projects, jobs, inventory. We can actually turn these off for certain users so they can't even see these boxes. You've also got in the back end here your divisions. So you can quickly set up all the different divisions or subdivisions within your account, and you can actually change each division per transaction and have multiple transactions against multiple divisions. So a lot of flexibility in terms of the back end. Just take you into a couple other neat features within the software that's a little bit different out in the marketplace. The payroll side, I won't go into this because this is a whole different webinar. A lot of flexibility in terms of how you set up your payroll. So certainly around the different types of pay rates that you may need. We do a lot of work in the hospitality industry, so applying really complex awards is our forte. But certainly when you're starting to look at like different liabilities and allowances and deductions and how they're treated, we give you the flexibility in the back end. Rather than predetermining how a car allowance needs to be treated within the chart of accounts, you've got the ability to create different fixed amounts, percentage rates, net pay, which affects gross pay, whether it's taxable, whether it's exempt, super, whether it's excluded from super, and a whole range of things. So a lot of flexibility in the payroll side. You've also got access to an employee portal, which gives your employees, certainly from a franchisee point of view, their employees access to timesheets, online timesheets, pay slips, paychecks. They can change personal information and those sorts of things. So again, a lot of flexibility on that side. And within the back office, a lot of things you can customize, whether it be printing templates. And one of the great features within Shoebooks is the scheduling system, where you can effectively create schedules to send out invoices, unpaid invoices, statements on a predetermined date of the month, remittance advices automatically, and the most important one, which is auto data follow-up. So you can predetermine whether it's 7 days, 14 days, 21 days, have a friendly reminder go out to potential clients who haven't paid yet. So again, you can take the resourcing out of it and let the technology do a lot of the hard work for you. So that's a little bit of the setup side. The user access, again, without going into too much detail today, you've got the ability to set up as many roles as you like that you can apply to different users. You could actually give your franchisees access to your master account, depending on the trust relationship. One scenario might be that I'm chatting to one system about is that they want their franchisees to access their head office account and access purchase orders only. So again, we can create the roles within here, and I've got an example here of someone who can enter in a purchase order. I'll quickly show you the permission side. So here we can actually turn on and off every single module, but apply permissions against the things that they are allowed to do within the system. So for this example is they can access the accounts payable module, and they can only see the purchase order button, and within the purchase order button they can do certain activities. So here it's got they can view it, they can print it, email it, download it. You could turn off that they can delete a line, they can confirm, release, a whole range of things. And then effectively you can set that franchisee up as a user, and when they log in, all they're going to see on this main menu screen is this red accounts payable box, and they'll only see the box that says purchases. So you've got a bit of flexibility there, but in terms of just users within, whether it's head office or at a franchisee level, you've got the ability to set up a whole range of different roles that allows users to interact with the software really predetermined for your needs. Up the top here, we've also got an import feature, so you can import a whole range of transactions either manually through CSV files, so sales figures, receipts, customers, bank transactions. You apply rules against the imports to automate the process. A lot of payroll information can be brought in manually, or as I said before, you can use our SOAP interface, which can automate these processes for you, so there'll be no manual import. That's probably enough at the moment. There's a whole range of things I could show you. Maybe I'll quickly show you an invoice screen. A lot of people like to see what the screens tend to look like. Again, we've developed each screen, so once you get to know how to enter in, search for an invoice or add an invoice, it's the same for doing entering a bill or a purchase, but effectively on each, you've still got quick access to your main menu, drop down, little snapshot of the menus. Below that, you've got access to each module, and for this example, it's each module within the accounts receivable, so customers, quotes, invoices, receipts, projects, and new action tasks. So as you see, one click can get you to where you want to get to. Some dashboards in here. This is just an example of recent invoicing. You can turn that on and off. Quick search criteria down here. So if you want to have a look at any unconfirmed invoices that you need to do something with, you can also then sort per column and then jump into a transaction. And again, this just gives you a quick example of a transaction screen. Again, it's the same for all transactions where you've got the ability to add different line items, which can be automated through product lists. So this could be just an example, brings in a description, income code, GST, sales amounts, all those sorts of things. You've got the ability to invoice hours that may have been applied to a project quickly. Up the top here, you can add comments. You can add attachments to any transaction, any type of attachment. You can then, once you've confirmed it, you can print very quickly just to show you a template. And again, these can be customized. Email it, which is obviously the important one. Certainly if you're quoting and invoicing while you're out on the go using your iPad, you can duplicate, you can set up recurring transactions. So that's whether it's invoices, journal entries, bills, whatever it may be. You can add a question to a transaction and send that to a user or support or your bookkeeper. So a whole range of things you can do within the platform that is all built for speed in mind. But just to quickly show you a custom performance report, just so you get a feel for what can be done. This is just an example, obviously. Let me just put in something here that's got some data. So if I preview this, again, this is just showing a snapshot of one location. So for one of our systems, and we just use this for testing phases. They wanted to break up their reports in different cost centers. So an ops manager could jump in quickly and have a look at how, where the revenue is coming from, bar and kitchen, the cost of goods, expenses, some of their wages that they can track, discounts, the franchise fee calculation, as I said before, part of the calculation, some of the monies aside that certainly at the franchisee level need to be mindful of, and other different cost center analysis. Again, this is just showing an example that we can actually pull together any type of reporting that you want. Just an example. Different revenue, stock, some information that gets sent through to managers so they can manage their own area correctly. So this has got some wages, percentage of sales, and stock, and those sorts of things. It can be presented either within a pie chart type of layout, or more traditional reporting style. We could produce a report where it shows a summary of all your locations with one click of a button. Up the top, you can print it, download it into a CSV file, PDF it, a whole range of things there. So it's something, again, we work with each system. Everyone's different, and it's predetermined on your KPIs and what you want to present and who you want to present it to, that we can present that to. So that's just a quick overview of the platform and the performance reports. Let me just jump back in to the presentation just to keep moving along. KPI report, I've already shown you that, and again, I'm happy to send people examples of that online if you'd like that. What's involved in the process? So just before we start wrapping up, get this question all the time, and I'll just take you through some simple steps that we work with. It's not just franchise systems, but even business owners that are looking to migrate over from existing systems. Very first thing is we do a needs analysis. So we work with the franchisors on what they're looking at or what their requirements are right now, where their system is headed. What are their goals? Are they looking to go from 5 systems, franchisees out to, is the goal to get to 100? So they're going to need a scalable model. What type of trust relationships are they looking for? What type of integration can we help with at the head office level? So how do we get rid of those spreadsheets and data entry processes? We can then look at the franchisee level. What type of systems need to be automated, integrated with, again, point of sale, CRM, et cetera, et cetera. Out of that, we build a plan. And that is a staged plan. We don't go head into trying to integrate every single system. We have to be mindful of the change processes in place here. So effectively, the next step, once we've got the requirements moving forward and we've got an agreement on the staged approach, is we set up a standardised chart of account, one for the franchisor, and certainly that master franchisee account. Again, we work with a franchisor on what they're wanting at that franchisee level, potential roles and permissions and those sorts of things in the master franchisee database. Once we've got that down pat, which doesn't take very long at all, we're talking could take hours, but maybe a day to get right. Certainly standard chart of accounts these days, we can get certainly migration from existing platforms and replicating what you had in, whether it's Mild or QuickBooks or whatever it may be, half an hour these days. To just give you some time frames around these. Then we start looking at migration of existing accounting software. Again, we do this in a staged approach. If it's a small system, 1 to 5 locations, yeah, we could potentially roll that out all at once. If we're certainly working with larger groups at the moment that don't want to roll something out altogether, and that is a big task for anyone to be involved with. Again, we group them. We certainly start with the franchisor, which is usually the most complex migration to start with. Get that right. Make sure everyone's happy. Bring on 1 to 5 potential locations, migrate those guys over, make sure the trust relationship's happening between the accounts, and again, everyone's happy. Then we start rolling out in stages in a nice, timely manner. Again, migration of existing data, if you're looking at at the franchisor level, can be done very, very quickly these days. Then we go live. So once we've sort of done some testing in the back end, we certainly go live, and the franchisors can start transacting, and a handful of franchisees. Again, that whole process can be a couple of hours up to a couple of days. We're not talking weeks and weeks and weeks. We then start looking at how we can, once we start rolling out to existing groups of franchisees, we can start looking at implementing some of the integration automation processes we identified in step 1. So again, we do that in a staged approach. So everyone is ready for it, is trained for it, and it's not a big shock to the entire processes when they are implemented. And then we look at the KPI reporting. For us, actually developing the KPI reporting only takes a couple of hours, but again, it's one of those last pieces of the puzzles that we look to implement because there's a lot to do in terms of the data integration and trust relationships with the databases. But that gives you an idea of the process. Again, it doesn't take a lot of time these days. Migration, using technology, getting access to existing desktop software, accounting software is a lot easier these days. So getting up started is quite easy. The important part is to get step 1 right. You get step 1 right, and the rest flows quite well. Just to wrap up, before I let you go back to your days, your busy day. For all of our FCA members, we're doing a lot of work with systems at the moment. Love to have a chat to you about your own system and how some of the models we've taken you through today apply to you. Obviously, no obligations, but I think sometimes it's good to have an ear to throw some ideas against. Again, there's a lot of different providers out there, and some may be doing what we're doing, but we certainly can package up quite nicely for you. We've got member benefits as well. But if you want to have a chat to me personally, there's our phone number, 1300 882 428, or you can email me directly. Happy to receive any emails and then set up a time that's convenient for you to have a chat. You can access free trials if you like to have a play around. There's a specific landing page for our FCA members at shoebooks.com.au/franchises. So again, it gives you a rundown of what we're doing with a tailored solution. And it's a bit of social media there if you wanted to follow us on Twitter. But until next time, I certainly appreciate your time. I hope that I gave you a little bit more information, not just about Shoebooks, but some of the things that you need to be thinking about if you're going to look at a cloud solution and the different providers out in the marketplace. And we'd love to have a chat to you over the coming weeks to see if we can assist. And until next time, talk to you soon. Bye-bye.